Good day and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I'm your host, the voice of reason. In this episode, I want to cover the continued fighting that is taking place inside of Afghanistan. The Taliban continue its offensive in the hopes of driving out the current Afghan government and defeating the Afghan military. The U.S. Air Force has stepped up its attacks on the Taliban. A significant amount of airstrikes have been occurring over the past several days to blunt the Taliban offensive. We are seeing some fairly significant fighting in Helmand province, specifically in the city of Lashkar. The Taliban have made a concerted effort to seize control of the city. However, that attack has been blunted by both Afghan Air Force elements, Afghan Special Forces, Special Operations Forces, the United States Air Force, and the use of, obviously, of drones as well. So we do know the Taliban have taken significant casualties in operations around Lashkar. Furthermore, if we head further west towards the city of Herat, there has been also another significant Taliban operation in hopes of seizing control of that very large city as well. We do know that the Taliban have infiltrated districts around Herat, and again, through the use of air power, the Taliban have sustained tremendous casualties in these areas. Again, the U.S. Air Force is contributing significant amounts of assets against the Taliban and stopping this offensive. Again, there are reports that the Taliban have sustained horrific casualties, and the question is how long can the Taliban press this sort of high intensity offensive in hopes of winning, as long as they continue to take the kind of casualties that they are taking. And believe me, they are taking significant casualties by the use of U.S. air power and even the air power, the limited air power of the Afghan government. The fighting on the ground, even without the use of air power, is rather intense. The Afghan government right now really relies on these rapid deployment commando battalions that tend to be airlifted into a hot zone, and then they engage the Taliban. Now, these commando battalions that exist inside of the Afghan army are very well trained in the use of calling in fixed wing air support, either from U.S. assets or from their own assets, in terms of some of those slower moving Cessna type aircraft that are equipped with Hellfire missiles. While they are not high-tech aircraft, they do possess a very significant precision-guided attack capability with GPS aided munitions, and obviously they have on those aircraft FLIRs, forward-looking infrared devices, which are very, very effective in identifying groups of Taliban forces either on foot or moving over the deserts and roadways of Afghanistan, and then destroying them with these thermobaric Hellfire munitions that they are able to use, along with GPS-guided munitions that they possess as well. But there are some reports that would indicate the Taliban could have sustained in the last 4 months up to 24,000 casualties. And that's significant. Has the Taliban suffered those kinds of losses? I don't know. It's hard to say. Obviously, the numbers of Taliban really kind of fluctuate in terms of how many are active on the ground. Most estimates would say the Taliban have well over possibly 60,000 fighters. But again, we hear all kinds of estimates, and that tends to ebb and flow as well. But the Afghan government is not capitulating. They are not going down without a fight. Granted, it does sound like the Taliban have had success in kind of quarantining the country in terms of seizing many of the border crossings around Afghanistan, but the Taliban have faced significant resistance in terms of capturing some of the larger cities. Now, how long will the United States be willing to provide fixed wing air assets overtly? That's a question only the White House could answer. But I would assume that even at the point when direct fixed wing assets from the U.S. Air Force cease, we can expect the CIA will be very active over Afghanistan in providing drone support and going after a key Taliban leadership, concentrations of Taliban forces in and around Afghanistan. And when I say in and around Afghanistan, obviously it looks like Iran, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, is providing support to the Taliban, and as well, there obviously has always been issues with Pakistan as well in terms of the Taliban freely operating inside of Pakistan as well. But the fighting continues. I think many people are of the belief that when the last U.S. forces leaves Afghanistan in late August, then it will be a game over for the Afghan government. Now, I simply I'm not sure that is the case. The Afghan government, the forces that make up the Afghan military have a lot to lose. And obviously, we're hearing continued reports of atrocities by the Taliban in terms of it executing uh, lawfully surrendered combatants after telling them they would not be harmed if they surrendered. And when you do that, you can do that once, you can do that twice, but at a certain point, these Afghan forces are going to stop surrendering because they know that they're simply going to be killed by the Taliban. So I'm not sure that is a wise decision outside of just creating an environment of fear. And I would assume that's what they are trying to do. But at the same time, the Afghan government can play the same game. And I would expect that we can see that game continuing to play itself out until this conflict ends, and I don't foresee it ending for a significant period of time. Have a good day, everybody.